There are no good wins on the internet. A running theme on college football Twitter is the insistence that the result of any game is more an indictment of the losing team than an accomplishment for the winner. So, basically, nobody has played anyone. Early in the season it is especially easy to trash resumes because the top teams have played so few games against opponents who have even remotely comparable talent. Also, fact is, it really is too early to truly know what these teams will become. Maybe LSU is just really terrible and Mississippi State's win actually isn't a major one. Maybe Ohio State is way overrated, so big whoop. Oklahoma beating Notre Dame on the road, big deal. Georgia. Of course, more often than not, when the question is Team X that good or is Team Y that bad, the answer is little of both. 3 weeks into the college football season, AP voters are trying to decide how to weigh the good with the bad. How did they do? Heat check. Number 1 Alabama 30. The Tide has done nothing to make anyone question its bona fides. But it's not always about what you do when it comes to the rankings. Sometimes others do more. Next at Vanderbilt. Heat check. Too hot. Number 2 Clemson 30. The Tigers picked up a season-high 15 first-place votes after a second straight win against a top 20 team. Voters need to start giving Clemson the Alabama treatment. If the Tide deservingly gets the benefit of the doubt in the rankings, so should the team that beat the Tide to win the national championship last year. Next versus Boston College. Heat check. Too cold. Should be number 1. Number 3 Oklahoma 30. The Sooners slipped but did nothing wrong. This is also all about what Clemson did right. Next at Baylor. Heat check. Just right. Number 4 Penn State 30. The Nittany Lions have done exactly what an elite team should do going against inferior competition. But others have done more against better. Next at Iowa. Heat check. Too hot. Number 5 Southern California 30. Yes, the Trojans struggled to beat Texas. And Texas might not be back, but the Longhorns are certainly better than Akron and Georgia State and probably no worse than Pitt. That's who Penn State has played. Next at California. Heat check. Too cold. Number 6 Oklahoma State 30. The Cowboys' schedule so far looks similar to Penn State's, but includes 2 road games and an even more decisive victory against Pitt. Next versus number 16 TCU. Heat check. Too cold. Number 7 Washington 30. Welcome to the 2017 season, Huskies. Next at Colorado. Heat check. Too hot. Number 8 Michigan 30. Stopping Florida is not quite as easy as the Wolverines made it out to be. Or maybe Tennessee is terrible. See how hard this can be. Next at Purdue. Heat check. Just right. Number 9 Wisconsin 30. The Badgers have bullied weak competition. At least they played a road game. Next versus Northwestern, September 30th. Heat check. Just right. Number 10 Ohio State 21. We're not going to learn much about the Buckeyes for the next few weeks. Next versus UNLV. Heat check. Maybe a touch too hot. Number 11 Georgia 30. Notre Dame has run for 937 yards in the 2 games it has not played the Bulldogs, and 55 against the Bulldogs. Feels like we should give Georgia some credit for that. Next versus number 17 Mississippi State. Heat check. Too cold. Number 12 Florida State 0-1. The Seminoles' only sin is being idle, but it's hard to give FSU the benefit of the doubt over teams that have been playing, especially knowing QB DeAndre Francois won't be back. Next versus North Carolina State. Heat check. A little too hot. Number 13 Virginia Tech 30. No looking ahead, but Clemson comes to Lane Stadium in 2 weeks. Next versus Old Dominion. Heat check. Too cold. Number 14 Miami 10. Like the Noles, the Hurricanes have done nothing to deserve being docked spots in the rankings, having not played since opening weekend because of Hurricane Irma. They also have not done anything to warrant rising, which they have as teams around them have shuffled. Next versus Toledo. Heat check. Too hot. Number 15 Auburn 21. Tigers fans are pretty disgruntled right now, but getting pounded by Clemson is nothing to be ashamed of, and the struggles against weaker opponents are being overplayed. Next at Missouri. Heat check. Too hot. Number 16 TCU 30. Voters are still holding out a little on the Horned Frogs, who were not ranked in the preseason, but have a resume similar to Wisconsin and better than Washington. Next at number 6 Oklahoma State. Heat check. Too cold. Number 17 Mississippi State 30. It was LSU the Bulldogs stomped, not Louisiana Monroe, and the Tigers have been on the receiving end of only one other 30-point beatdown since 2009. So, yes, credit to Mississippi State. Next at number 11 Georgia. Heat check. Too cold. Wherever Auburn is, Mississippi State should be ahead. Number 18 Washington State 30. The Cougs are 3 games into a 5-game homestand to start the season. Next versus Nevada. Heat check. Just right. Number 19 Louisville 21. Voters might have been too harsh on the Cardinals post-Clemson They do have 2 wins away from home against Power 5 teams. Next versus Kent State. Heat check too cold. Number 20 Florida 11. Hard to embrace the Gators, but they're probably somewhere between pretty good and good. Next at Kentucky. Heat check too hot. Number 21 South Florida 30. It was only Illinois, but coming off an unusual week of preparation, the Bulls were impressive. Next versus Temple, Thursday. Heat check just right. Number 22 San Diego State 32 straight Pac-12 victories and nothing at all fluky about them. This is a top 20 team. Next at Air Force. Heat check too cold. Number 23 Utah 30 at Arizona, Friday. Voters might have pulled the lever for the Utes a little early, but Utah has done this unranked to ranked thing so much lately, might as well buy in early. Next at Arizona, Friday. Heat check just right. Number 24 Oregon 30 at Arizona State. The Ducks' defense is no longer falling all over itself, so that is a big step forward. Next at Arizona State. Heat check sure why not the Ducks? Just right. Number 25 LSU 21 versus Syracuse. LSU is still ranked. Next versus Syracuse. Heat check too hot. Instead of LSU and Florida, how about Vanderbilt and Colorado? Follow Ralph D. Russo at www.twitter.com Ralph Russo. More college football coverage http collegefootball.app.org and www.twitter.com app top 25.